Hello, welcome back to English with BDM. In this video, I am going to explain 7 English idioms with Greek origin. There are hundreds of English idioms, phrases and words which have their origins in Greek mythology, legends and fables. Our first idiom here is Trojan horse. We have the origin of this idiom in the great Trojan War that we find in Homer's epic Iliad. Paris, the Trojan prince, abducted Helen, the wife of Menelaus, and the younger brother of the Greek king Agamemnon. This abduction of Helen by Paris caused the great Trojan War. The Greeks attacked Troy and the Trojans defended. The war continued for long 10 years, but still the Greeks could not defeat the Trojans. So they realized that in a conventional war, it was not possible to defeat the Trojans. So they designed a unique plan to defeat the Trojans and rescue Helen. They built a huge wooden statue of a horse, with the inside of the horse remaining hollow. They packed the wooden horse with well-chosen and war-hardened, battle-hardened warriors. Then they left the wooden horse just outside the gate of the city and receded to a distance, went to a distance, pretending that they had accepted defeat and were preparing to return to Greece. The Trojans suspected nothing wrong, nothing foul. So they were very happy and celebrated. They took the wooden horse as a war memento and dragged it inside the city. At night, when everyone was asleep, the Greek soldiers came out of the wooden horse and opened the gates of the city. The other Greek soldiers rushed to the city, and in a surprise attack, they defeated and destroyed Troy and rescued Helen. This, in short, is the story of the Trojan War. So a Trojan horse, as an idiom, has a significance that we should not accept anything, however valuable, however charming it may appear, before checking its authenticity and the people who sent it. The new director caused irreparable damage to the company, as he was a Trojan horse planted there by the rival company. Number 2, Achilles Heel. Achilles was the greatest Greek hero in the Trojan War. His whole body was invulnerable, except a small portion on the heel of his right leg. It is a beautiful story behind. When Achilles was born, his mother held him by the right leg, by the heel of the right leg, and dipped him in the water of the river Styx, S-T-Y-X. But that portion where she held him remained dry. So his whole body was protected from any attack, was invulnerable except that small point on his heel. And during the war, Paris, the abductor of Helen, shot an arrow at that point of Achilles, as he knew that weak point, that vulnerable point on his body, and Achilles was killed. And so Achilles heel means a weak point in the character of a very powerful person, and that weakness may bring about his fall or destruction. The weakness for his son was the Achilles heel in the character of the great leader, and it brought about his downfall. Number 3, apple of discord. The Greek goddess Eris, E-R-I-S, was the goddess of discord. She loved to cause quarrels among gods and goddesses, among human beings. One day she threw a golden apple among the gods and goddesses. And three goddesses, Athena, Aphrodite, and Hera, vied, contended to get the golden apple. And from this mythological story, we get the meaning of the idiom, apple of discord. That is something valuable for which a number of people contend, quarrel to get it. So, the costly car left behind by their father turned out to be an apple of discord between the two brothers. Number 4, stuck between a rock and a hard place. A rock and a hard place are identical. They are equally unpleasant and dangerous. If one gets stuck between the two, his life is in danger, and it is almost impossible to get out of that danger, of that dangerous situation. Being chased by the villagers, when the thieves rushed to the river to cross it, they found crocodiles there. Thus, they were stuck between a rock and a hard place. This English idiom has its origin in the Greek mythology, where we get Scylla and Charybdis. Scylla was a sea monster with 6 heads, and Charybdis was a very strong, very dangerous whirlpool. Now, if any ship got stuck between the two, it was almost impossible to get out of that dangerous situation, either to recede, retreat, or to go forward. Being chased by the villagers, when the thieves rushed to the river to cross it, they found crocodiles there. Thus, they were stuck between a rock and a hard place, between Scylla and Charybdis. You can also use this phrase, stuck between Scylla and Charybdis. Next one, number 5, Midas touch. Almost every child knows the fable, the interesting, very short story, King Midas, the golden touch. Midas was a king. He had unlimited, insatiable greed for gold, and he prayed to God to get the power to touch anything, to turn anything that he touched into gold. He was granted the power, the boon, and naturally he was very happy. But, and from this story we get the idiom, Midas touch, that is the power, the ability, enormous ability to succeed, particularly to make money and gather wealth. He had a Midas touch as a businessman, as he succeeded in any enterprise that he undertook. But the story has a tragic turn that is not there in this idiom. That is, when in the next morning Midas awoke and was going to have his breakfast, the food turned into gold. And the tragedy reached its peak when he tossed his dear daughter, who also instantly turned into gold. And so then Midas prayed to God to take back the power. Sour grapes, it is also another very popular fable, the hungry fox and the ripe grapes. When the fox was passing through a vineyard, hungry fox, he noticed bunches of very ripe and juicy grapes hanging over his head. Naturally, he desired to get them and jumped again and again, could not get at the grapes. So when he left the vineyard, he said the grapes were sour. And from this story, we get the meaning of the idiom, sour grapes. If we covet something very valuable, if we crave for it, but do not get it, do not succeed in getting it, we call it sour grapes. When he failed to land the coveted job, he called it sour grapes. Our last idiom is Herculean tusk. Hercules was a great Greek hero. He had immeasurable strength, valor, and confidence, determination. he was imposed 12 unimaginably tough tasks to perform by the king. But great Hercules performed all the tasks successfully. And so Herculean task means a task that demands, that requires very great, enormous strength, courage, and determination. To revive the economy of the country was a Herculean task to the new government. That is all about idioms today. In videos in the future, a number of videos I'll be presenting. Select idioms and phrasal verbs. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get timely notification of the latest videos. Expecting to meet you soon in the next video. Until then, goodbye.